Welcome everyone to Dating God's Way.
Hey, everybody.
Giving you some time to join on with us tonight. It's a Dating God's Way Tuesday. Welcome, welcome. Hey, daughter. Hey, Tara.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
That was the sounds of Crazy Praise. 22 years ago.
What?
When Pastor E and I met in the Crazy Praise Gospel Go-Go Band. And that was one of our practice sessions. But right before, at the beginning of this tape, Pastor E, at the beginning of this recording, it was when we found out we worshiped.
Yes, I remember this.
Yeah. It was a moment. If I can, I'm gonna go back to
No,
it.
don't go back to it. Don't go back to it. Don't go back to it. Let's date God's way tonight. Do not go back to it.
I'm gonna go back to it.
Don't go back to it.
I'm gonna go back to it.
Don't go back to it.
I'm gonna go back to it.
Don't go back to it. Let's date God's way tonight.
It
Let's date God's way tonight. Don't go back to it.
Oh, don't go. Oh, that was our first time worshiping together.
Oh, no, don't go back to it.
That was our first worship experience together.
We already late for DGW.
That's when you start liking me for real, for real.
Go somewhere and let's get into this DGW.
Oh, okay.
Let's get into this DGW tonight.
He a different little church boy. Okay.
You're a trap. Let's get into this domesticated.
Domesticated. All right. Domesticated.
Yes.
What am I talking about here?
What are you talking about tonight here? This is your subject. What you talking about tonight here?
So, all right. Y'all heard the notion of somebody telling the guy, find you a woman that cooks, or they ask the question, can your woman cook?
Oh, okay.
So I want to touch on this subject tonight. This subject tonight that I want to touch upon is domestication or domesticated.
Domesticated. Or domestic.
Are you challenged to be domestic? If you are unmarried, are you challenged to be domestic?
Mm.
And if you are married, do you have challenges with being domestic? Or do you find being domestic as an archaic
practice or an archaic requirement?
Right. Is it no longer a standard to be domestic?
Interesting. I think this is very interesting. That look, as we get into it tonight, one of the first things that I told Pastor Will is, look, don't be thinking I'm gonna be like your mother. I'm not gonna be up cleaning all night, this, that. It's gonna be a two-way street. Like, I'm not
Well,
it's go ahead.
well, I come from a family. Well, I come from a background that, while my mom was, she was a homemaker, yet my mom was a full-time employee too. She worked for the government or for the law offices all my life,
Yeah,
right? All my known life. And so she was domestic. Like, her food is good. Her food that she cooked was good. Um, and she kept the house neat and clean. Very domestic. And my dad was domestic in the sense of he did what he did, as far as he kept the cars running, he kept the gas in the cars, he made sure the bills were paid. It was it was domestic living.
right. And he also cut the grass and took care around the house.
Absolutely.
Domestic.
Very domestic.
Hey, Nish.
Hey,
Yeah, very
niece.
domestic. Interesting. So, I've seen a lot about this online as it relates to domestic. If it is basically people saying that um either they want someone who can. I only see it really about women. I don't really see it about men as much. I don't see like men can change a tire or cut the grass or whatever. It seems to be very sexist. This conversation we're having tonight, just to be straight up,
I
it seems
agree.
to be very sexist,
I can agree with you on that.
right? It seems to only be catered towards women, and so I think if we're talking about being domesticated, we're talking about doing the God's way. If we're talking about being domesticated, I think that it's a two-way conversation. I don't think I see in the Bible where it says that the woman is like the person that has to do all the domestic things. I don't think that's in the Bible. Now, somebody may know the Bible better than me and could tell me where it is, where it says like the woman must make the bed, sweep, and vacuum. I mean, I don't know. Is it there, guys?
Right. I
Contextually, is it there?
I haven't seen it. But I think a lot of it comes from is that this is what my mom did for me. This is how I was treated as
Sure.
far as the male go,
Was the-
right?
Yeah.
This is my experience. And but is it fair? Is it not is it fair, but is it is it still a practice, um or how is the domestication practice looked at today?
I'll say a couple of things I'll bring into this conversation. I think that one of the things that I've seen being someone that hires people is a lot more men fighting for longer time off for paternity purposes. When their wife is having a child or whatever, I see a lot of men fighting to be home with their family for a longer time period, to have the same amount of time at home as their wife does. And I think that speaks to some shifts that have happened in some cultures.
Yeah, I think the more studies that come out also shows the paternal involvement of the father and their children gears towards better child development.
Absolutely. So I think, as we're having this conversation tonight, is bringing up something I think that is very crucial conversation about how we may view this domestication as being something that's geared really towards women when time has evolved. I think that the expectation on women has also evolved.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
expectation of women to, in some cases, be breadwinners, in some cases, carry more of the financial weight as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think where we found, or maybe, and I'm just talking out of my head here.
Okay.
I think what we found was that domesticate, or how you how you perform domestically,
Yeah.
attribute to the honor or respect that you felt that you got in the household. And I'm not sure if that's misplaced or not.
Hmm.
Like, you washing dishes, that's tied to how much you respect me or how much you honor me. You honor me so much that you wash dishes. And while I'm grateful, while I'm grateful that the dishes are clean and that the clothes is washed, or whatever we have agreed that our roles in the household, whatever we agreed our roles are,
Yeah.
while I'm appreciative, um I don't know if I'm honored without it being, hey, I thought of you enough to do this for you, or
Hmm.
to do this so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
What that sound like?
Sounds interesting. I think that we should do a quick poll. And quick poll right quick, because we're gonna get into your discussion, but quick poll right quick. I want you to give some hearts and likes first, but then right here, yes or no in the comment section on our poll tonight. So please participate in our poll, yes or no. Go, 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 go.
I remember,
Yeah.
I remember somewhere, they were serving dinner, and you brought me a plate. You brought me a plate of food, and I was really irritated by it. Because I get my own plate, you know. But I don't know if the pressure was there because of the audience that we were in, or the crowd that we were in, and everything. But I was like, you know, this not how we do. You know,
Yeah, I mean, I think that I try to be considerate of you as it relates to eating and or what you would like. I try to be considerate of you, but the requirement of it, I think, is where the rub comes for you,
uh,
right? Like
that's right. Yeah.
the consideration, I think you like the consideration. I hope you like the consideration. I guess you like the consideration. But the requirement of it, I think, is where the rub comes for you. That it should not be required. It's not a required practice for me to necessarily get your food. There is this thing that's going around about who gets dinner first, your kids or your husband.
Hmm.
This is the kind of stuff about domestication we talking about tonight, y'all. Who gets dinner first? Your kids or your husband? I'm like, I don't even know why it's a conversation.
No,
When I cook dinner,
you feed my kids first. I don't care how old they are. I don't care if they can go get their call Uber themselves and get that. I feed them for they. And I mean, I feel like they the first. I mean, but basically, but some of it, Pastor, but some of it is my upbringing too, right? It's the way that I was treated. I was always treated as my child. You are the first to have.
yeah. But I think we did a good job with teaching our children priorities, right? If you're just joining us, please take this poll, yes or no. Is this yes or no? Our domestic requirements are cases, yes or no? I think that we did a good job with teaching our children what the priorities was by having date nights, by going on vacation without them. I think we did a lot of work to help them to see where the priorities was and that mom and dad is a priority.
And my oldest son, Kalen, he's one of the most considerate persons that you
Hmm.
will probably ever meet. Even last night, I was like, dude, go ahead and eat your seconds or whatever. He said, no, Dad, you haven't eaten yet. So he always making sure that um someone beyond him is considered first. Whether he has eaten first or not eaten at all, he always makes sure that someone is before him. So yeah, go ahead, Pastor. I just wanted to say that
Yeah,
about
I
Kay.
think that consideration is the key. And I think that when you have different phases also in your relationships where, your wife has had a baby, or, you know, um, you know, one partner is working all night or working the night shift. I mean, I just think there are a lot of ways that you can have considerations instead of expectations.
But at the same time, I think it's important to be domestic.
Sure.
I think it's important to know how to wash clothes without bleeding colors, like I just did with one of my white shirts. I think it's important. I think it's important to know how to wash clothes, how to wash dishes.
Knowing
So
how is different than being required to do so
absolutely,
because you're a wife. I mean, like,
yeah.
look, my boys will leave my home knowing how to cook for sure, right? They both know how to cook, whether, one of them extensively, one of them can cook a meal for himself. He can bake and or on the stove. I think that's important quality to have.
Yeah, but don't ask to change a tire. Jesus. I haven't. I did it. Bad job. Bad job.
Right. And so you need to work on it. And I
I
think
I don't have any tires to change. My car. Our cars don't break down. It's just. I was raised a bunch of broken down cars. I mean, cars always broke down around me. So I mean, my life. My
well,
beginning of my young life was fixing cars.
I know, but you can go on YouTube, figure out how to teach my boys how to change their tire. Anyway,
I
the
They will always have a cell phone and always have access to Geico or AAA.
there you go. So you definitely teach your daughters that out loud. I do think as we talk about domestication, I think it really does come down to, like, everybody should know how to do it. But when you start talking about relationship, I think one of the best conversations we had was before we got married, who's going to do what? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is the conversation to have prior to marriage. Who's going to do what? In other words, what are your expectations? Do you have the expectations that I'm going to do all the things because I'm the wife?
Yeah.
It was a negative for me, y'all. Sorry.
Yeah. Trash 1, 2, 3, not it.
I think you can have those conversations prior. I don't think I've ever done trash in 22 years. Next week gonna be 22. Maybe like
You may have dropped a bag or two outside.
yeah, as a consideration.
That's a yeah.
Right. Like, sometimes you working late all night or whatever before the boys became the trash guys. But yeah, if you're working late all night, you're at work all night. I'm not gonna be like, I'm gonna wait till you get home to do the trash. I mean, that seems ridiculous. So a consideration. But I think it
Yeah.
also has to be a conversation. Like, there needs to be a conversation about what the expectations are when it comes to domesticating.
And I'll do as much as I can around here, but the one thing I don't do for real, I don't touch bathrooms.
Yeah.
I have a bathroom phobia.
Germs.
Part of my part of
Germs.
part of my domestic allergy. Bathrooms and attics. Now, thank God we never had an attic. Or we probably do have an attic. I just haven't been.
Yes,
I just haven't been there. Out of all the houses, out of all the places that we live, I've never been in any. I've never been in the attic. Never. Repairmen come over. They be like, "Yeah, come look up here." I was like, "I believe you. It's up there." Okay, I got you.
That is true. You are a no with that. That is true.
I think grandma attic was the last attic I was in Fermandy.
Oh, grandma, Lord have mercy. That's 10 years ago, at least for grandma.
Yes.
My goodness. Domesticating, though. So consideration, conversation. So we have 2 points tonight. Consideration, conversation. Okay, as it relates to domesticating. I think the third thing we talk about is talking about so we got what I say? We got consideration, conversation. And I think the third thing that we have to think about when it comes to domesticating is just like the context. I think, what's in here about what it means to be domestic? Like your background, what's the context? What are you pulling from?
That's true.
What are you pulling from to create the context that you're trying to make your future spouse or your spouse live in? I just had to tell Pastor Will straight up, I ain't never gonna be your mother.
Yeah, that was a hard pill to swallow.
Wasn't it a hard pill to swallow,
It was a
boo?
hard pill to swallow.
I actually enjoy cooking. I do enjoy cooking. I enjoy cooking. But what, Will?
My mom cleaned my room.
His mom cleaned his room for a long time, y'all. For a long time, his mother cleaned his room.
And she folded my clothes. Because she didn't like unfolded clothes. She even offers, even when she finds some clothes unfolded, she even offers, hey, I'll come fold them clothes for you. Like, no, Mom, it's okay. So I learned how to fold clothes because Pastor E don't fold clothes either. I have to fold clothes.
I do not fold clothes. I don't fold clothes. I may sometimes if I feel like it. That's it. Everything going on a hanger. That's it. I would rather put my clothes on a hanger. I ain't got no time to be folding nothing. Okay. I don't have no time for it. It's a waste of time. Okay. That's my opinion. Okay. I will really quickly put it on a hanger. Hanger's faster. Hanger's faster.
So if you come over here and you spend a night over here, your sheets will be wrinkled because I don't fold sheets. I fold my clothes now. I don't fold sheets. It's too big and nobody come help me and I'm folding sheets alone. And so everything you sleep on is wrinkled.
So y'all can see we do have we split up most of our domestication in this house.
But if you have a flat tire, I would change it. I would change a flat tire. I will.
Yeah, you don't do the kitchen either. That's another thing that you do not do.
I try. You don't like the way I do the kitchen.
No, I do the kitchen. I would rather do the kitchen. I would rather do the kitchen.
That's one thing I learned about women is that stay out of their kitchen. That's one thing I learned about
I would
wives and
rather do my
moms.
kitchen. Yeah.
Stay out of their kitchen. Even if you at the microwave, it's like you throw a bowl of soup in the microwave. Like, what you cooking? Like, what you doing? I was like, why are you in my kitchen?
That's a fact. But those are things we had to determine very early on. I would prefer for you not to cook.
What about my hair? You got that car. You got to take the whole bumper off. It's a lot to get to that headlight sometimes. I will look at it and I will tell you what you need. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. So I do think that context is important. We gotta have the kitchen. That's correct. We gotta have the kitchen. But
that's
the
my cousin
other
Murray.
things we can share. We can share clothes. We can share clothes. Been out of control for a long time though. Once we had 2 kids, that was it for me. I did share a little bit in the beginning, Will, but once we had 2 kids, I was like, "This your area."
But everybody puts on at least 4 layers of clothes. 4 times 4 is what?
But the boys do wash their own clothes now.
Now they do, but
16.
16 times 5 is what?
I don't know.
16 times 5 is
16 times 4 is 60. I know that.
Uh-huh.
So you getting like 72 or something, whatever.
Yeah, so that's about 100 pieces of clothing a week that you're trying to wash through. I'm an IT engineer, Pastor E, a CEO, and everything else, and always been like some kind of director or executive level. So sometimes clothes pile up after 2 weeks. So now we got like 400 articles of clothing to try to pile through within a weekend. Y'all, it got crazy around here. So
domesticated, child. Domesticated. Do you know though that these areas is some of the areas that actually make people break up though? Like people break up over domestication, Pastor Will.
It's stressful. Domestication is stressful.
I will say this. When I lived with my best friend,
it can be stressful.
before me and Pastor Will got married, my best friend is very OCD. She did not like she where is it at? I got my coasters up here and my little coasters. I got my little spade coasters up here. Everything had to be on a coaster. Like she was very OCD. And y'all just don't know. Pastor E is just not. I'm not none of the things. I'm not none of it. So my poor best friend, hey best friend, child, hey boo. I was just like, I don't know. Like, I'm not doing all these. She had like a rules book of things that she did.
When before Pastor E and I, it's our 22nd anniversary. Before we got married, I used to go to Pastor E house, and they were living together. And I mean, my coat couldn't even touch the couch before she come and hang it up. It was.
So you can imagine living with somebody OCD. I was like, child, this a whole thing. So you talking about being domesticated. Like some people literally break up, literally unmarry because of domestication issues. Because of domestication issues. And like Pastor Bill said, it's stressful. But the interesting thing, like it can be stressful. He said it can be stressful. I think that it also could be an issue because it can be stressful for some people, but to people like me, it could be not stressful at all. And that can be an issue. When we talk about domestication, understanding your partner is very important because to me, it's not stressful at all.
Yeah, sometimes I would wonder, before, I would wonder, like, why you don't care about this stuff? Like,
yes,
these
these
things
like,
should be.
You should be caring about. And I'll be like, I don't know. Care about it for what? I don't know. Y'all, I don't know. I'm like, care about it for what? I still really don't care that much. The only thing I care about is cooking. This is a true story, you guys. The only thing I really care about is cooking. I need my food to be right, well seasoned. I needed to be food that we're gonna eat. Like, I don't know. I still don't care. Is that true? Is that true, Pastor?
If you say so, I'm not gonna say you don't care or not. But
I do not care, y'all. I still don't care about domestication that much. That is a fact. I do not care.
But here's what I had to learn. I had to learn not to make her care.
Yes.
And I had to learn if she don't. So what can I do? If it's something I care about, then what can I do to either let her know I care and come up with a solution that, whatever is taken care of, so that I can be like her and not care. Because I don't really want to care. But for me,
there are things I know he cares about that I only care about because I know he cares about them. That's true.
Right.
It's a consideration. That's why one of our C's tonight is consideration. I consider those things because I know there are things he cares about.
Yes, Kanisha, you have to be ready. And this is why we're talking about this. Because I want you to be ready.
Not divorcing over domestication. It just don't even make sense. Nobody should get a divorce over anything domestication. And I have heard of couples getting divorced because of domestication issues, because
they don't do this, they don't do that. You have all these expectations, but can they, are you trying to force them to care about something that, it's something what I said on Sunday is like, neither has it entered into the heart of man. Right?
You caring about the wrong stuff.
Right. So just because it's in your heart doesn't mean it has to be in their heart.
For sure. For sure. For sure. And so, I think it's understand what's important. I don't know. As I've gotten older, so we're gonna celebrate 22 years this Friday. Whoop whoop. I thought maybe this would change a little bit. It ain't changed at all. I don't know. It still ain't changed. There's certain things I still just I don't value. And I think that, when we talk about this, it is dependent on the person. I do not value, like, my best friend, I was talking to her on the phone the other day. She was like, I need to do my dusting. And I was like, oh, like, I was like, child, I just called the cleaners to come do this dusting, child. Child, love my best friend. She's like, I need to come do my dusting. Child, I called them cleaners and I told them, come do this dusting before it's Thanksgiving. So, like, I value having it done, but I don't value having to be the person to do it. And some people like being the person to do it. So I think it is conversations that you should have prior to marriage, where you both stand on the things.
My mom, she loves cleaning. She loves cleaning. She used to clean her floors, especially the kitchen floors. She used to clean her floors on hands and knees and stuff like that. And even though she's older in age, she's not old at all. She's youthful, and she still can get down there and do it. But I was so proud when she said she hired her a cleaner. She got a cleaner that comes in once a week. I was so happy because I was like, that's time in the day, that's energy that you reserving, and that's
but
do it.
You think like that now because you have a wife that is like that. Amen. I'm gonna tell you right now that has helped you and in this category. There are so many other things I can be doing other than going to a grocery store, like making us money. This is true.
This is true.
Right? Like it took time though, I think, for you to get to that space where you saw that as valuable as I see that.
It's true.
It took time for you to get to that space, for you to see that as valuable.
It took a lot of time. It took some readjusting, some reimagine. I remember when the clothes, like I said, it'd be like 200 pieces of clothing to wash, and one day it just got big. It was like it got up to like 400 articles of clothing.
What did we do?
Like, let me take this to the wash and fold. Yeah, that was the best idea I ever came up with. Oh my goodness. I dropped it off and I picked it up.
They folded and everything for you, Sean.
In wrap bags and everything. I mean, it was like they came ready to, put back, on the shelf. I was like, where was this in my life all this time? Why am I working this hard, stressing myself out, being this domestic, and they actually offer services?
Right, that we can afford. I'm just saying, y'all, that we can afford.
But it was a trade-off because instead of putting the water in the money bit and the water, putting the money in the water, wasting water and electricity and everything like that, so it paid off in the long run. Efficiency.
Yeah. And so
but it was a hang up I had to get off of about washing clothes and about this domestic issue for everything. Yeah,
domesticating. Yeah, finding a righteous partner is hard in this day and age. What you mean by that, Adam? Give us some more so we can get into it. That's it. Our YouTube viewer. Hey there, Adam.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you for joining. Would love to know more about what you mean by your comment tonight. Would love to hear about that. Yeah, but it took some evolution for you as well. Evolving from that mindset.
Yes.
Evolving.
And it didn't happen overnight.
It did not happen overnight. Yes, it did not happen overnight. Yeah, but I order groceries. I got a whole list of things that I do really quickly that I like to do. I enjoy ordering the groceries online. I told my boys how to order groceries online. That's it.
Something I'm not a fan of ordering groceries. I like to walk the grocery store.
You like to walk the grocery store.
Don't necessarily like to drive there, but but when I'm near, I like to walk the aisle. It's something about walking the aisles of the grocery store that is just so serene.
Not to me. To me, I'm like, child, let me get back home. I done had enough of this aisle stuff.
And I walk every aisle.
He walks every
aisle. I go up and down and up and down and up. Even we don't have no pets, but I still go down the pet aisle.
Y'all. Get to know your people, y'all. That's the point of it tonight. Domesticated. Get to know your people. Getting into you're really not marrying yourself, Pastor Will.
And by the way,
marry yourself.
Please don't ask a man to go to the grocery store on holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's just a mess. We just bump into each other. I said it before and I'll say it again. We just bump into each other wondering, is this what she said yet? Is this the kind? Is this the right one?
I did start doing pictures though. I started doing pictures. I've also evolved. I started doing screenshots. So that's a domestication for y'all. Do the screenshots, child. That it'll help you out a lot. Do the screenshots. Okay, so we domesticating. We talked about conversation, consideration, and context.
Yeah.
There is no reason for you to be fighting with your husband in the first year of marriage because y'all didn't have no conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's no consideration for life changes. And also, the context ain't changed. You still living in 1940, and we ain't there no more. I'm just gonna
I'll
tell
be
you
wild
that.
a little bit though, E. You know, one of the most uncomfortable things about domestication too
Yeah.
is when you used to send me to the CVS for at that special time of the month, and I bump into somebody I know, another another guy that's like, and I'm just holding that thing that package in my hand is like, don't say nothing.
Well, I'm gonna put this in context for everybody watching. I had endometriosis, and
Yes,
so I
absolutely.
had a very complex time.
You
A
did.
very
I'm
complex
not. It's
time.
nothing against. I'm just saying how I felt the weirdness when going into the CVS and you bumping into people that you know, and but lo and behold they got the same thing in their hand because we both on emergency runs. It happened to me.
I will say your son said that's something he ain't never doing. He said you ain't even got to worry about it. He ain't never doing it. I told him,
Yeah,
well,
get married.
get
He gonna
married.
get
That's
married.
exactly what I told him. Get married. Get married. He was at the store with me. He was like, I ain't never doing this. He said, he know dad ain't do. I said, well, I let dad talk to you his own self. I'll let dad talk to you his own self. Yeah.
Let me get the purple package. It's okay. It's okay, son.
Get the purple package. I just sound like this. Child, he said he know dad never, child. Look, oh right. And Nichelle said it had 5 daughters. That's correct. Her father
Oh
had
my.
5 daughters.
Oh my.
Her father had 5
Oh
daughters
my.
and a wife.
Oh.
5
Mr.
daughters and
Stevens.
a wife.
Oh. Woo. Woo. That reality just hit me. Thank God. Wow, Mr. Stevens. God bless you, sir.
I think one part that I want to bring out in this for our last couple of minutes is one of the things that I think about is like as you get older and as your spouse get older, as your parents get older, like there is some amount of consideration for those things too, Pastor Wood, I think people don't talk about either.
What's that?
Like literally, as my grandma got older,
Yeah.
bathing her and like doing different domestic things, right? And I think people don't talk about that factors either. Like there are as your spouse get older, right? Or can get sick or have children, there are things that you just have to do that maybe you didn't do before.
It is so true.
Right? Like if your spouse can't move their limbs or have a hard time getting out of bed or whatever, like there are parts of this why you got to get the context right in your mind because life also can change in a moment, right? And you could be domesticated in different ways, right? You have the different considerations that people don't talk about that can happen in the marital space that being prepared for is important. I mean, you could never have been prepared for us having 2 kids back to back and what that would mean. I was literally bedridden for some parts of that story.
Yeah.
Like I was literally could not get out of bed, needed help getting out of the bed for some amount of time. Wasn't just a day or nothing. And so I think, those are things that I think you just don't get taught. And some people mishandle those moments. because domestication is needed.
Yeah, at some point, when you when you did, when your health did get a little weak, and when you didn't rebound as fast as I thought you should be rebounding, I remember those times of feeling like, why you not doing this yourself, right? Because you couldn't, but I wanted things normal again,
Yeah.
and but it's those times that really not only test you, but it also strengthens you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it strengthens you. It's tough. It's rough because things go from. I mean, and things can decline quickly. I mean, when my health declined, those the two times and everything like that. Um, I had to stay. I was on bed rest for a little bit. Um, I understand, the frustration that went into that, taking nursing me back to health.
It
You know,
was, the problem wasn't the domestication for me. The problem was your stubbornness. That was the problem. But yes,
so yeah, and so and I think you do have to have a talk about parents while your parents are healthy.
yeah.
I think you have to have a plan. Hey, if something happens, to our parents as they get older, what do we do?
Yes, that's a conversation among marrieds. Like you should be having that spouse conversation. Do your parent come live with you? I mean, we're talking about domestication, but all of these are conversations that can help you down the road. Yes, yes, we lean Pentecostal, Adam. Hey there. Um I think those are conversations that are essential because you don't know what's going to happen in your lifetime and as a couple with your parents, all the things. So I think also domestication can take on different forms because of life, not just age, also because of life.
Yeah.
Because of life, domestication. So yeah, we talked about domestication tonight, and we talked about conversation. We talked about context and context, and we
Conversation, domestic conversation,
conversation. Yo, I keep forgetting all the C's.
consideration of requirement.
Consideration, yes, consideration, conversation. Thank you, and context. Get your mind right. Get your mind right. So you're not out here. There we are. Consideration, conversation, context. Let's get domestic or not.
Yeah.
Know how your spouse feel about that domesticating before they become your spouse. It's going to save you a lot of drama and a lot of issues. Yes, yes, and yes. Great topic tonight. I enjoyed this topic tonight, Dad.
Yeah, this was pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
This was pretty cool.
Pretty
This was
cool.
pretty cool. But
What did you guys think of tonight's
but I am reminded of
Yeah.
the scripture of
Yeah.
I think it's Martha and Mary,
Yeah.
when one needed to do felt like she needed to do her domestic duties,
Yeah.
and the other one found it more important to do the relational, to have the relational pieces.
They got to be balanced.
There has to be a
It has
priority.
to be
There has to be
relationship
priorities.
has to be the priority.
Relationship have to be priority, and your domestication should come from your relationship, and
Yeah. Not
not
just
just
with
doing
Jesus, but
busy
also
work.
with your spouse.
Right. Yeah.
Not just with Jesus, but also with your spouse.
Amen.
Jesus cared about your relationship with your spouse.
That's it.
So these are notes to take. All of you who are dating God's way, think about getting married God's way, and or are married God's way. The relationship has to be the priority. Domestication can't mean that you're not tending to the relationship. It
Yeah.
cannot be so. Your relationship with Jesus and your relationship with your spouse, that got to be the priority.
I
And you
cook
can't,
for him. I cook for him. I clean for him. He washed my car. He do all the domestic. But where's the relationship?
yeah. We cannot just become roommates doing stuff. We cannot do it. We cannot do it.
That's it.
We cannot just be coexisting.
That's it.
I refused, and I'm glad we agreed. We can't just be coexisting in this house together, paying bills and keeping house. The relationship with one another has to be the priority. Don't be so busy domesticating that you forgot that you married to an actual person.
That's the truth.
Don't forget
Yeah.
your people.
And let the church say,
Amen.
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 Well, everyone, is
Yeah,
that it?
that's it. DGW, dating God's way. Dating God's way. Hey, hey, hey. Yes, yes, yes. One of the things I enjoy, Pastor, is taking our time out to date. Relationship has been our priority. Date, and men, the boys, taking our time to spend time with each other. And
Yes.
I know that's meant that I'm a little less domestic, but also relationship has been a priority. It's true.
And it's true. And and it goes to it's training the child in the way that they should go, right?
Yeah,
And it's training them to be relational. Um, and not only just do all the things because they do
their choice.
most of the things.
Yeah, they do most of the
They
things.
do most of the things. And I thank God for that. But they also have a balance with, also spending that time. And they may not know how to ask for time, but sometimes they ask for time by doing the things that they want to do, knowing that they are asking us to do it with them.
Yeah,
Like go to the mall or go here and there. It's their way of saying, hey, I need time with you.
yeah, yeah. And we make space for that. And so I think that's just it's a key. Make space.
Yeah.
Make space.
So
Love
y'all
you guys.
continue.
Thanks for
Love you
joining
guys.
tonight. Love you guys. Dating God's way.
So I'm gonna pray some more. Can you hear it?
That is that part is not going to be discernible, Dad. That part is not
Huh?
that part is not discernible.
What person not discernible?
That part of the music is not discernible because we got like a lot of like activity happening in the
Yeah, we
lot
were
of activity.
this is our first practice tape with crazy not our first, but one of our early practice tapes with Crazy Praise.
That's the band where me and Pastor Will met. For everybody that doesn't know, that's where we met. That's where we met. That tape is not discernible. That
This was our first worship experience, Pastor E and I together at this band practice.
you and this. Love you guys. You and this. We can't discern our music, Dad. We can't discern our music. You're a mess. We out of here. We gotta go now. We gotta go.